So Group B will be announcing their distributions this coming Wednesday. So we're going to take a look at a couple of those in that group. And then we'll also do a follow-up with Bitcoin and MSTR. Hello, my friends. This is Legend. So this coming week, Group B will be announcing their distributions along with, of course, the weekly payers. Now, what I'm looking at right now is that list, and that Group B ETF list right here. That's the Group B, and that's what will be announcing their distributions on Wednesday. And these are the weekly payers. They will also be announcing their distributions this Wednesday. The weeklies, of course, is, as the name says, they pay out weekly. So they will do their announcements on Wednesday. They will do an X date on Thursday, and then, of course, payout will be Friday. I've had some people ask, where is this sheet at, or how to find it? So let's just go through that real quick. So we'll just start right off by going right to the home page of YMAX. So as you can see, we are on the homepage of YMAX. This is YMAXETFs.com. Now, to get to that distribution list, that's pretty simple. Or if you just want to look at individual ETFs, you can do the drop down here. The covered calls one is, of course, where the majority of them live. And then you can just go through here, find the one that you're looking for. Right there's MISTY, there's NVDY, and so forth. But to get to that distribution list, there are a couple little clickable links that you can click, but it may not be there every single time, especially if they upgrade or update the sheet. But there's one right here where it says announcing new distribution schedule. Click here, and that'll take you to that link. But the one that's always and seems to always be there is the one at the very bottom. So you can just go from that home page, scroll all the way down to the bottom of that page, and right here you'll see distribution schedule. Click it, and that will take you directly to the distribution schedule for YMAX ETFs. And here you can either look at the schedule for the Target 12 ETFs or the Group A, B, C, D ETFs. If you click this, this will just jump you down to that section of the page, or you can just scroll down. Either one will take you there. So if I click it, as you can see, it scrolled right down to this section here, which gives the dates that it actually will pay out for each group. Now, if I scroll on down to the next table, you will see the groups here and each ETF that is listed in that group. So I just wanted to do a quick little overview of that, just so that you know where it's at, as I have got a few comments of trying to understand which ETF is in which group. So you can simply find it for yourself by going to that website and looking under the groups under the distribution schedule. So now let's just go over to the trading chart and let's check out a couple of the ones that are in Group B. So we'll just start right off here with NVIDIA, and NVIDIA is the underlying of NVDY. NVDY being the YMAX cover call ETF that uses NVIDIA to write the cover calls against. So we'll take a look at this one, and then we'll take a look at PLTY and PLTY. So first, let's just look at NVIDIA. Looks like it hit almost 0.5% up here. You can see at the top. So about 0.42%. And let's see how much NVIDIA captured. And NVIDIA captured 0.42%. So that's a great sign. It actually was able to capture all the upside of NVIDIA for that day. Love to see that. Way to go, NVIDIA. Now, we are having a little bit of a red candle that happened on Friday with some red volume, but the momentum here is increasing, as you can see. And the RSI 14 is at 66. So we might continue to see this one move on up. And of course, to understand NVIDIA, we've got to look at NVIDY. And as you can see here, again, we've got momentum increasing. We've got a little bit of a red volume with red candle, but if you look a little closer to this candle, and we'll zoom in on this candle here, you can see it's got a long wick on the bottom, but it actually closed up toward the top of that candle here. So what that means is there's a lot of buyers here in this area, and we're looking at NVIDY. So a lot of buyers here that actually were able to keep it up, and that's a positive move. Even though it is a red candle, we'll hope to see that come Monday that we get a nice move up. Of course, nothing is guaranteed, but it just shows that their buyers are living in this area right here, that we're able to push that back up. And like I said, NVIDY did capture all 0.42% of that upside. So love to see that. So let's slide over to PLTR and PLTY. So here we are on PLTR. And as you can see, pretty much right in the center, a little bit of indecision and trading somewhat sideways, really, for the last few days. We did get a 1.09% upside on PLTR, but let's just see, what did PLTY gain? Were we able to capture that whole 1.09% or only a fraction of it? Ah, very nice, very nice. We got 1.08%. So we were able to capture pretty much that whole entire upside of Palantir. That's a good sign. Love to see that. And as you can see here on the chart for PLTY, we had a nice little move up. We had some green volume. Looks like the momentum here is somewhat flat, and looks like it's been somewhat flat for a few days, but that also would explain a little bit of why it's kind of flat here, right? But to better understand these candles, we'll slide right over to Palantir, and as you can see, it looks very similar with some flatness here and flatness on the price movement of the candles. But we did have a nice little $1.40 pop on Friday, 1.09% move up, and PLTY was able to capture that movement with the price itself. So love to see that as well. So let's just go ahead and check out MISTY and MSTR while we're at it. Here we are on MSTR, and as you can see on MSTR, we do have a little bit of a red bar showing up on the MACD for the momentum, and we do have it crossing down ever so slightly. We did get a green volume candle, but the actual price movement is pretty much just in an indecision spot, where it did go up to as high as 406.90 and went as low as 389.01 and then closed at 399.80. So it ended up going up and it went down and then closed somewhere in the middle. So a little bit of an indecision of which way MSTR wanted to head. Now we have been kind of coming down on that price, and we are getting close to the midpoint of that Bollinger Band. And if it can get down to that lower part of that Bollinger Band, which looks like we might be able to get there, as we are getting a little negative momentum and possibly a cross down on the MACD, then we might be seeing a little bit of a pullback, which could be a potential point to DCA some shares or dollar cost average some shares if you are bullish on MSTR. Now, of course, that is not financial advice. That is just what I'm looking at and where I'm looking at to purchase my shares. But let's just go ahead and check out MISTY. So now we're looking at MISTY, and as you can see here, looks like it is getting close to the midpoint on that Bollinger Band, and if it can come on down into this area here, maybe I'll buy a few more shares. It looks like we've got a little negative momentum, maybe a cross down on the MACD, and we are cooling off on that RSI. So currently that midpoint on that Bollinger Band is about $22.17. So if it can get in this area here, say the $20 range, then I might buy a few more shares. But keeping in mind that for my portfolio, I am looking to recoup my invested capital of MISTY so that I can then show positive gains for MISTY without having to sell my shares. Now that's just me. That's just how I'm doing it. Everybody in this MISTY community is handling it differently, and how you're handling it is fine. If that is how your plan is for MISTY, it is your choice, and you should track your positions as you see fit. Buying, selling, holding, not investing is completely up to you. And just to show you where I'm at in my position with MISTY, what I am doing, we'll just slide over to my stock tracker sheet and we'll take a quick look at that. So here we are on my stock tracker sheet, and this is the one that I have shown on a few other videos, but this is my current position of MISTY. I currently have 400 shares with a purchase price of about $25.20, with a total capital invested of a little over $10,000. Now, the amount of distributions that I have earned since I've owned MISTY is a total of about $7,500 in distributions, and I've also sold a few puts on it, and I've gained an extra $679 in premium for that. So therefore, that has adjusted this $25.20 share price to now a new adjusted price per share of $4.71. So that is $4.71 per share that I still have at risk. So therefore, a total dollar amount of at risk is $1,884.23. That is the $4.71 times the 400 shares. So I have gained back a total of 81% of my capital back. And if I were to sell the shares at the last current price, I would clear $7,271.77. And that is selling all 400 shares at the last price that is shown here of $22.89 per share. So with this sheet, I can keep track of my adjusted price per share, which I see that as my real price per share, right? Because I have earned those distributions and I've earned that premium back into my pocket. So it is paying me back my total capital that I have invested. Now, once I've paid that back, or it's paid me back, then all of the distributions I earn from that point on would be 100% free and clear, and that would be 100% gain of me holding the MISTY shares. So I just wanted to show the tracker sheet that I'm using and my current position that I hold on MISTY. Now, if you have a sheet or if you have a way that you're tracking your MISTY position, then definitely use that, because I believe that tracking that adjusted price per share, I believe that is important. And that is my opinion, as I'm not a financial advisor. But I think to know at what point you have cleared and gained back your capital that is invested, and therefore you would know at what point you're now at a positive income for your shares of MISTY. Now, again, if you have a way of tracking that, then by all means do so. But if you do not have a way of tracking it, and if you would be interested in this sheet, there will be a link in the top of the pinned comments, and there will also be one in the description that you can click to go to a site to get the chance to download this sheet to make your copy, and you'll be able to enter in all your purchased positions of MISTY along with all the distributions that you have earned to help generate your personal adjusted price per average share and to know how much at risk you are still at with your stock position of MISTY. So again, this is not financial advice, nor am I saying that you need to track that position. That is completely up to you. I just see a value in tracking it, and if you have a way of doing it, do so. If not, you're more than welcome to download this sheet to help you track your position on MISTY. So I think I'm going to wrap it up right there. If you don't mind, hit the subscribe button and also smash the like button. It'd be much appreciated. And as always, I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Please do your own due diligence before you get into any stock plays. And until next time, legend out.